What makes a Shakespearean play a tragedy? Well, to put it simply, there are aspects to a play called tragic elements which give it an overall tragic effect. Here are 7 of them. Tragic flaws are basically the pre-existing traits to a character's design. Flaws are, after all, what make us human, and Shakespeare was a big fan of making his characters human. These traits can be anything from an overinflated ego to bloodlust to jealousy or whatever else basically accentuates the protagonist's bad side. Now, Marcia is the mistakes the tragic hero makes that sets the tragedy into motion. Some examples of this: King Lear giving his country to his 2 horrible daughters, Othello trusting Iago, someone pisses off the supernatural, or Coriolanus just plain making an ass of himself. Marcia is what takes the hero's tragic flaws and makes the hero act upon them. Peripeteia is what I consider to be one of the most important elements of tragedy. Simply put, it's the moment the hero's fortune reverses, like when Coriolanus is exiled from Rome, or when King Lear is left with nothing but a slowly decaying mind. Peripeteia is the sudden change in fate, and often leads to the tragic hero's suffering and discovery. We've all experienced some sort of suffering of our own, be it actual emergency or listening to your great uncle tell you that boring story for the 100th time. But Shakespeare's suffering is so much more worse than some boring fishing story. For example, Titus Andronicus cut off his own hand, killed his own daughter, and then allowed himself to be killed. If that isn't tragic, I'll eat my uncle's hat. Discovery is very important. It's the moment the hero realizes something about themselves or the others around them which amplifies their suffering. Like when Titus Andronicus finds out his daughter was raped and had her tongue cut out, or when King Lear discovers his daughters don't love him, or when Coriolanus learns that he can't bring himself to destroy Rome because his family lives there. Though, the guy is constantly rediscovering himself. The character's discovery is a major component to leading up to the climax of the play. So when you go see a play, you're expecting there to be beautiful sets and powerful body language coming from the actors and actresses, right? Plays are written for the stage, and Shakespeare's were no exception. There are moments in his plays, tragic and comic, that when read clearly show how awesome it would be to see it on stage. Moments like this would be Aufidius standing on Coriolanus' dead body, King Lear asking his daughters to tell him how much they love him, or when Tamora is eating pies made of her own sons before Titus Andronicus kills her. Clearly, these are things that would be awesome to see on stage. Catharsis is what really makes a tragedy a tragedy. It's the moment that you, the reader or the audience, can feel the distress or the grief of the tragic hero. It's the moment you can relate to them, and you'll be sitting on the couch at 3 a.m. crying because the fool died, or sitting there in shock as Coriolanus is murdered in less than a line. Catharsis is the purging of emotion, and really makes Shakespeare so worthwhile to read.